Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. This is the 8th episode of Story, and it only takes one person to change history. What if a simple act of kindness results in 4 of Konoha's best friends? Please hit the subscribe and like buttons. Let's get this party started. Tsunade and Shizune faced the two men in an alley. The air was tense, and everyone were prepared for anything. "It's been a while, Tsunade," Orochimaru greeted. "Not long enough," Tsunade stated. "So, why seek me out? And what happened to your arms?" "A little mishap from my visit home. It is why I seek you out. I need your medical expertise. I would very much like it if you healed them." This made Tsunade scoff. Why would I do that? Even if I still practice, I wouldn't heal your arms. It's your own fault for thinking that the village was so weak," Tsunade explained. "I will admit that I underestimated the strength of the village, but that was only a minor setback," Orochimaru stated. "Minor, huh?" Tsunade asked with amusement. "You and Raza got your asses handed to you. It's all over the elemental nations. Not only that, but you also betrayed and killed Raza before he could help. He may have not been the strongest Kage, but he could have tipped the scales. Then there's your arms. The old monkey certainly hurt you." Orochimaru just smirked at the mockery. "It is true what you say. Perhaps I did overestimate my old home. However, the joy I felt after watching the life fade from Sensei's eyes, I guess that makes my failure a success," he said with a smirk. "Is that so?" Tsunade asked, flashing a smile. That suddenly changed when she smashed a wall with one punch. The glare she gave Orochimaru promised great pain and death. "Come now, Tsunade, there is no need for this. You stopped caring for the village a long time ago. Besides, if you heal me, the reward will be worth your time," he explained. "I am giving you until the count of 5. She threatens." Orochimaru did not move, nor did Kabuto. 5. 4. 3. Dan and Nawaki, "I can bring them back," Orochimaru said. Tsunade looked at Orochimaru like he was crazy and almost launched herself at him. "I have mastered that jutsu your granduncle created. I can bring them back. I can bring back your happiness." Tsunade was struggling to move forward. Why was she hesitating to kill him? She knew who this man was, so why? It was because she saw the look in his eyes. He wasn't lying. Shizune saw that she was hesitating and was not pleased. "Lady Tsunade, what are you doing?" Shizune asked urgently. Orochimaru just smirked. "I'll give you a week, Tsunade. Think about my offer." With that, the two men vanished. Tsunade just stood there, ignoring the voice of Shizune. She could only think about Orochimaru's words. Could she really be happy again? Could she really sell out her village to be with her loved ones again? Tsunade took another sip of sake. Shizune just sat in silence as she hugged the pig tighter. She was just worried about her mistress. She hoped that she wasn't really thinking about this. Well, if it isn't my 2 favorite friends," a voice said. The 2 women looked up to see Jiraiya. The white-haired man was grinning like an idiot, making Tsunade look at him with a glare. "Your eyes better not be looking where they shouldn't be," Tsunade warned. Jiraiya was grinning only to be kicked in the shin hard by Naruto. "For real, pervy sage? For once, stop thinking with your lower brain. I don't need another incident," Naruto berated. Jiraiya glared at him and vice versa. He turned his attention back toward Tsunade. The 2 took seats across from them. "It seems that I am getting visits from a lot of familiar faces," Tsunade muttered. "Oh? Someone I know?" Jiraiya asked. Tsunade didn't say anything but brought out a deck of cards. She shuffled them before dealing them. Jiraiya took the cards and held them up. "So why are you really here for, Jiraiya?" she asked. "Straight to the point, huh? Alright then, you probably know about Sarutobi-sensei? It is the decision of the council that you take up his mantle," he explained. Tsunade raised an eyebrow at that. "You can't be serious? You're the only one capable enough. Now I know you're joking. Why would I want such a position? Only a fool would become Hokage," Tsunade said with amusement. Naruto's eyes narrowed while Jiraiya's expression got serious. "That's kind of cold, Tsunade," Jiraiya said. "I'm not saying anything untrue. All you must do is look at every Hokage. They died young doing something foolish. They gave their lives for a villager that would forget them in an instant. Hiruzen should have retired a long time ago. Her didn't have the power or skill to finish Orochimaru. He died when he could have lived. You've wasted your time, Jiraiya. I will not commit suicide by taking that mantle." A loud slam turned everyone's attention toward Naruto. The blue-eyed blonde was glaring daggers at Tsunade. The woman didn't look impressed or intimidated by the glare. Sure smirked at him. "You angry brat?" she mocked. Naruto wanted to lash out at this woman, but his training with Uzumaki just kicked in. Naruto would stare at her for a few moments before calming himself. He was still angry at her, but he decided to just leave. "I'm going to train Pervy Sage," Naruto said. Jiraiya nodded and Naruto got up to leave. However, the blonde could not just leave after Tsunade insulted his surrogate grandfather in the position he wished to claim. He turned around and looked at her. "You know what, Granny, you dishonor your loved ones." "Excuse me?" Tsunade asked, now at full attention after his granny comment. "I can see that you never got over their deaths. You might be able to hide your rage, but you can't hide that pain from your eyes. I'm guessing that they wanted to be Hokage too, but they died before they realized their dreams. To ease your pain, you badmouth the Hokage position and you blame the village, but to do that is just pathetic. All you're doing is spitting on their dreams and dishonoring their names. You should be ashamed of yourself." With that said, Naruto turned on his heels and walked out of the restaurant. Tsunade was stunned. She wasn't the only one as Shizune, Tonton, and Jiraiya. No words could be said now. Never had anyone spoken to her like that. What really stunned her were the words. Those words cut her deeply, deeper than any blade. Jiraiya was the first to come out of his stunned state and had a grin on his face. "Well, that was impressive," Jiraiya joked. That woke Tsunade up and she was not happy. "That punk, who the hell does he think he is speaking to me like that? Doesn't he know who I am?" Tsunade demanded. "Oh, he knows who you are. The whole generation knows. I guess he's just as disappointed as I am in the real you." Tsunade shot him a glare, but Jiraiya did not look all that afraid of it. Tsunade stood quickly and stormed out. Shizune quickly followed. Jiraiya sighed as this just got difficult. "Yahoo!" Kiba cheered and pumped his arms. "My arms are finally free." Behind him, Kurenai just smiled at her charge. She agreed to take Kiba for his checkup as his mother was busy and sister was out of the village. "Yes, Kiba, they are free. However, don't expect any hard training. You'll be doing light training until I deem you ready," Kurenai stated. But I'm at 100%. I need to find out if I've missed a step," he argued. "I know about the training you learned from Guy. You can continue that exercise, but you will limit your miles. I won't have you running around the village like my fellow Jonin and his mini-me," she said firmly. Kiba pouted at that. It earned an elderly chuckle and a young giggle. The two turned to the amusement to see Tamaki and her grandmother, Granny Cat. "Quite a childish pout on such a strong shinobi. Your sensei is right about taking it easy," the elder said. "Thank you, and it is pleasure to see you again," Kurenai greeted. "What brings you to the leave?" "Well, we are in the process of finalizing an outpost on our lands. I figured that I would come here in person to see it to the end," she explained. She then looked at Kiba. "I have heard whispers about your match. Quite an accomplishment, almost breaking the unbreakable." "Yeah, but my success has come with some consequences," Kiba said somberly. Kurenai could only sigh in agreement. From what Hinata told her, things were quite stressful whenever she crossed Neji's path. The boy would growl at her. It got to the point that her caretaker, Ko, would accompany her almost everywhere. She had spoken to Guy about his charge and he promised to deal with it. "But that's why I want to get back to my training. I think I've taken the lightning style, depth charge as far as I can. I think I can really make my lightning fang better," Kiba explained. Granny Cat nodded and understood what he was talking about. She looked at Kurenai. "I think that when you deem him ready, you teach him his element affinity," Granny Cat said. "It was something I was considering when I believed he was ready, but he is still a bit immature to try," Kurenai joked. Kiba pouted again, making Tamaki giggle. "Then perhaps you can work on your taijutsu and ninjutsu. No offense to your clan, but fighting using just your instincts can lead to an unbelievably bad situation," the elder said. "Huh, that sounds fun. Maybe we can ask Guy-sensei," Kiba said. "Absolutely not. For the time being, you will not be asking Guy for any advice without my supervision," Kurenai stated seriously. "Where is all this distrust coming from? What have I or Guy-sensei done to earn it?" Kiba asked with annoyance. "Well, I remember someone being told not to push himself only to find said someone doing squats on the side of the Hokage monument using only their chakra with two green beasts. Said beasts faced the wraith of an angry sensei and said someone could not sit due to the punishment delivered by their angry mother," she explained with a serious look. Okay, I was just asking," Kiba said. Kurenai just sighed while the two females were amused. Neji slammed his palm into the post, nearly splitting it. He calmed himself down before he lost any more control of his anger. Even after 2 weeks, he could still feel the wounds on his back. They didn't hurt as much anymore, but it was a reminder of his failure. Even thinking about, he would feel the 3 marks pulse. Then there was the punishment. It was not unexpected, but it did not make him any less angry that Mongrel had embarrassed him. He swore that he would pay for that. While that was bad, the praise Hinata was receiving made him sick. The elders congratulated her on her win and her actions during the invasion. He didn't understand why she was getting such praise. She fought an opponent that she should have defeated easily but didn't. As for her part in the invasion, all she did was protect the injured and healed. He didn't understand why she was getting so much praise for minor accomplishments. It was infuriating. Neji took several deep breaths to calm himself. It didn't matter what either of them did. Fate was still on his side and he would show them both that their fate was to always be weak. Tsunade was enjoying the night air. It wasn't as if she was getting any sleep. For the past 2 days, she would be plagued with nightmares. It was always the same as her brother and lover would not even look at her. Their back was always to her and they would not even acknowledge her. She had not had a decent sleep since meeting that brat. She didn't even know his name, not that it mattered. If she ever saw him again, she would give him a piece of her mind. A loud shout caught her attention, which was followed by an explosion. Curious, she made her way toward the sound. She came across a small field. There, she saw the brat in question. She watched as the blonde held his palm out and began to gather his chakra. He then used his other hand, moving it quickly across his palm. Tsunade's eyes went wide as a sphere of chakra formed. Naruto used both hands to contain the sphere. With a shout, Naruto drove the sphere into the tree, causing another explosion. When the smoke cleared, there was a decent-sized piece of the tree grinded out. She watched the blonde look at the damage. "DCH, still isn't right." Naruto muttered to himself. "What is Jiraiya thinking, teaching you that jutsu?" Naruto turned toward the voice to see her. Naruto narrowed his eyes at her before turning back to the tree. Tsunade sucked her teeth at the disrespect. "You should just give up on this jutsu. You'll never master it." Naruto continued to ignore her and prepared to try again. "You don't need to answer me, but it will never happen, brat." It took the 4th and Jiraiya 3 years to master. Again, she was ignored. Naruto formed the Rasengan and launched forward again. Tsunade just watched as another explosion happened. She waited for the dust to clear to see another grinded-out piece of the tree. This made Tsunade smirk. "See, what did I say? Just give up." Naruto looked at the damage and nods. He stretched a bit before turning around to leave. He walked past Tsunade without a word. He got about a foot before he was hoisted up. He was spun around and grabbed by the scruff of his shirt. Naruto was not happy and glared at the brown eyes of Tsunade, who glared right back at him. "You think you can judge me, brat? You don't know jack about me or my loss. The Leaf Village has taken everything from me. You don't have the right to be disappointed in my ways. What the hell do you know, brat? Don't know much and I don't care. I lost my mother and father when the Ninetales attacked the village before it was sealed eye on me. Not to mention that I can't ask any of my mother's clansmen about her since they are all dead. I've lived alone for the first 7 years of my life for being hated and ignored for something out of my control. So yeah, I don't know much about your pain, but I've got my own to deal with. Only difference, I face them instead of running away," Naruto said to her. Tsunade was surprised at who she was holding. She knew about the young container of the Ninetales, but she only saw him when he was just a baby. However, this did not make her any less annoyed. Naruto just looked at her without flinching. "Are we done now?" Naruto demanded. "Okay, I've had enough of this brat," she thought. She dropped the blonde and gave him look. "Hey brat, since you're so confident, how about a bet?" Naruto just raised an eyebrow. Tsunade slammed the saucer down after downing the drink. She was very annoyed, and it was all because of that blonde brat. He might have Minato's looks, but he had Kushina's smart mouth. She couldn't believe how he got under her skin so easily. She could still hear his words from 30 minutes ago. "First of all, what type of person would bet such a thing? The first Hokage gave it to you because it was priceless, and he loved you. Don't disrespect him as well. Besides, are you sure you want to bet me in anything, legendary sucker?" Tsunade nearly crushed the saucer. That damn brat could have just said no. She gave the stand owner a hard look. He quickly got her a bottle of sake and put it in front of her. She took it and poured herself a drink. As she was about to down it, someone arrived to her right. "You do know that is a drink that you sip, right?" Tsunade turned to glare at Jiraiya, who was smirking. "You better keep your mouth shut and wipe that smirk off your face. You're lucky I didn't launch that mouthy punk into the next town." Tsunade growled. "Come now, are you really angry because of a few words?" Jiraiya asked mockingly. "I am warning you, Jiraiya. Aw, ruin my fun, why don't you? Alright then, I'll stop. Besides, we have more important things to talk about. Tsunade sobered up a little after hearing that. She could see and hear that he was serious. What did Orochimaru want? She looked at him but did not betray herself when she heard the question. He only came to brag about killing Sarutobi. That's all, Tsunade said. Jiraiya just looked at her for a while before sighing. He turned to leave but he had a few things to say. You should see the village now, Tsunade. I don't know what started it, but Sarutobi-sensei and the elders have done wonders. I'm not ashamed to say that the village is in incredibly good hands with the young shinobi growing there. I'm even considering find one of them so that I can pass on my information network. If your grandfather and granduncle were still among us, they would be happy. What's your point, Jiraiya? I refuse to allow anyone to threaten that future. Not our rivals, not Orochimaru and not you, Tsunade. If you threaten that future, directly or not, I'll hunt you down and end the Senju line, Jiraiya stated while glaring at her. Tsunade looked at him in stunned silence. I won't make the same mistake I did with Orochimaru. I will kill you. Looking into his eyes, Tsunade saw that he was not playing around. Jiraiya turned from her and walked away. Tsunade just watched him and couldn't help but feel fear. Ino was huffing and puffing as she attempted to jog. It was difficult due to her injuries. It wasn't as bad anymore, but it still hurt like a bitch. She had to stop several times and it made her curse her weakness. She would rest a bit more before continuing her jog. It would be an hour later when Ino reached the finish line. She collapsed on the grass and was taking very deep breaths. That's when she heard footsteps. She looked up to see Choji and Shikamaru. Choji looked at her with concern while Shikamaru looked annoyed. Ino wasn't in the mood to deal with either of them. She tried to leave, keyword was tried, because she was too tired and too hurt to even try. You should stay still and rest, Ino. Don't rush yourself, Choji said with concern. What do you two want? Ino demanded. Choji sighed at her attitude but he was not deterred. Ino, this needs to stop. You're going to hurt yourself more if you don't let those injuries heal properly. Why are you doing this to yourself? Choji asked. Why, so I could stay behind you two and skill. I'm not going to follow behind, I'm going to lead from the front. I'll prove to everyone that I'm the best, Ino stated with conviction. How do you plan to do that, Ino, when you can barely jog a mile and a half? You haven't even healed completely. You've ignored Asuma-sensei's, your father's and the doctor's advice. A leader must make the correct decisions if things are going to go well. How are you proving that you are leader material by acting like you are? Shikamaru asked. This made Ino looked at him with a glare. You enjoy that, don't you? Pointing out my failings and faults among us? Does that make you feel better than me? Does it make you feel strong? She spat. No, I don't. Like Choji, I care about you and I am worried that you are going to hurt yourself more. He replied. Well, I don't want or need either of your help. I'll get strong my own way and then I'll show you too, Asuma-sensei and Daddy. Just you wait, Ino stated. Even if it means that you won't be a part of the team anymore? Choji asked. Ino gave him a confusing look. Do you think that sensei or your dad doesn't know that you've disobeyed them? Ino looked at him with shock and worry. You have to realize that they would keep a closer eye on you with the way you have been acting. What is going to stop Inoiki from pulling you out of the shinobi forces? What's stopping Asuma-sensei from kicking you off the team? Asuma isn't going to be like Kakashi. He's not going to risk the team just because you refuse to listen, and your dad isn't going to stand by watching you self-destruct. So, what is it going to be, Ino? Your pride or our lives? Shikamaru added. Ino was growling and clenching her fists. She was angry at what they had told her. She didn't believe that it would happen, but doubt began to creep into her mind. She couldn't believe just how unfair this was. All she wanted to be a better kunoichi, so why was everyone getting in her way? She stood up and gave the two a hard glare before storming off. Choji sighed as she watched her go while Shikamaru groaned. God, she's being troublesome. I don't think Asuma-sensei is going to have much of a choice if our words didn't get to her. He spoke. You really think that it would come to that? Choji asked. It just might. Look at what happened to Team 7, Shikamaru stated. Choji nodded at him and the two left the training area. Sakura was happy to see her home. She was a little tired after her lessons today and she needed to get some food. Still, she was happy to be learning something new. She was starting to get the hang of the healing jutsu. It didn't hurt that she got to do those lessons with Haku. Sakura can easily say that she was have a really good time now that she had found her path. She entered her home and was about to go to her room when a voice stopped her. Sakura? The female voice called out. Yes, Mom? Could you come into the common room? We have guests here that want to meet you. This time it was a male voice. Meet me? Sakura asked and made her way to the common room. She found her parents sitting around from a jonin and someone that looked familiar. You're Tabayo, right? I think we were a part of the same class, Sakura said. The boy chuckled at that. He had black hair with a spiky ponytail and dark brown eyes. He wore a gray shirt with blue trimmings. There seemed to be a flap on the back. He also wore a pair of blue pants. Yeah, you and other girls were way into Sasuke rather than your surroundings. I heard that you broke that spell recently, Tabayo joked. Yeah, I'm not too proud of that, she said embarrassed. She then looked at the jonin. He had some size on him and his brown hair was shaggy. He wore the standard jonin uniform, only his vest was open. He gave her a jovial smile. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Takuno Kanden and as of a few weeks ago, I will be your new sensei. He explained. This surprised Sakura and she looked at her parents. They motioned for her to sit next to them and she did. The Haruno family were together and faced the jonin. I didn't realize that a choice was made already. I knew that something was going to happen, but I thought it would be official when a new Hokage was selected, Sakura said. The decision was made before the invasion. The third felt that it was an issue that we could not delay, especially should the new Hokage veto his ruling. I was one of 3 jonin who were chosen and was assigned since I was one of the jonin who passed a team of your graduating class. They believed that I would be a good fit for you and Naruto. Takuno explained. If I may, what are your skills as a jonin? Kazashi asked. I am skilled in trap making and wires. I am a mid to long range shinobi as I carry several weapons on my person. I know how to use swords but in no way am I a master of the art. He answered honestly. I am curious as to why you only have one student. What happened to the other 2? Mebuki asked. I had them removed from the shinobi forces after our first C-rank mission, he stated bluntly. Sakura was surprised by this and looked to see that Tabayo had the same serious face as his sensei. Who was on your team, Tabayo? Sakura asked. I was on a team with Emi Kogure and Hibachi Mizuno, Tabayo said with annoyance. Sakura as she knew the 2. They were not the friendliest of kids back then. When I got them, there were already issues. Neither of them really worked with each other after they passed my test. Emi was very bossy and believed that she could boss the boys around. Tabayo was quite clumsy and Hibachi would make any excuse to get out of any type of training or work. When we got our first C rank, it nearly ended badly. I will not tell you what happened, but it nearly got Tabayo seriously hurt and the client. What happened after you returned? Mebuki asked. We faced the Hokage and council. I'm proud to say that Tabayo accepted that he made mistakes and promised to be better. I wish the same could be said about Emi and Hibachi. Emi blamed both of boys for not protecting her or client when she was too scared to even protect the client properly. Hibachi lied, putting the blame on Emi and Tabayo when he made the mistake in not being aware of where the enemy was. Neither the Hokage nor council was impressed with the 2. When they asked for my input, I asked that Emi and Hibachi be stripped of their symbols and Tabayo be placed under me. They must have not been happy with your decision, Kazashi said. They weren't and then they both blamed Takuno-sensei. That was the nail in their coffins as Lord Third revealed their academy files and the reports Takuno-sensei kept on us. They were below average when the new system was made, and they made no improvements when they were assigned, Tabayo said. Do you know what they are doing now? Sakura asked him. Since being stripped. I know Hibachi's dad has been running him into the ground with his training. He made him apologize to the both of us for his actions. Emi, I haven't seen since. I think she's back with Kasumi but Fuki is still a part of Team 11. So, will you treat our daughter with respect? I was happy when Kakashi was her sensei and our meeting went well but with how it turned out, I will not have my daughter with a jonin who won't help her become the ninja that wants to be, Kazashi stated. I completely understand. What I can offer is to help her continue learning medical jutsu and genjutsu. I admit, I am limited in both areas, but I can recommend those who are. If you wish, I can teach you kenjutsu and how traps work. It will further round you out as a shinobi. The one I'm worried about is Naruto as he is already quite rounded, Takuno said with a laugh. Well, thank you for answering our questions. I am happy that Sakura will have a responsible jonin to help her, Mebuki said. Of course, he said with another laugh. The jonin held his hand out to Sakura. She took it and they shook on it. Welcome to Team 5. Neji was seated in front of Hiyashi. The Jonin was summoned by his uncle while he was training. He figured that he would be called thanks to his recent behavior these couple of days. The open glares he shot at Hinata and her teammate, Kiba, were not ignored. Their sensei noticed, his sensei noticed, and several clan members noticed it. It seems that they had enough of it. Do you know why I have summoned you? Hiyashi demanded. It's because I've shamed the clan with my attitude, Neji stated. Is that what you think? It is not that you have shamed the clan. You've shamed yourself with how you've acted. Gone is the prodigy of the Hyuga and in its place is a petulant child. Neji clenched his fist at what was being said to him. What disappoints me the most is that you keep disappointing the vision that your father had in you. You don't get to speak about my father, Neji roared. You don't get to take any moral high ground just because you were too cowardly to die. Is that what you think? Hiyashi asked calmly. He then pulled a scroll out before tossing it at Neji. What is this? Neji demanded. It belonged to your father. He spoke. Neji was surprised. Hiyashi just waited so Neji opened the scroll. He began to read it and with each word, his face was in disbelief. What is this? What is this? Neji shouted. When Kumo demanded my head, I was fully prepared to die for the village. Even against my council's advice, I was going to die. Hisashi, your father and my brother, was chosen instead. I protested this decision when Hisashi immobilized me. He looked at me and told me that he wasn't doing this for the clan or the village. He told me that for the first time, he was making his own choice, the choice to save me. That was his choice. That is the truth. Hisashi explained. And no, this can't be true, Neji said, not believing him. Hisashi regretted passing along his bitterness to you. It was deserved as you were stronger than my heir. However, fate is not predetermined. We all have the right to choose how we live. With that, Hisashi stood and walked past his nephew. Neji just knelt there, tears falling from his eyes. Naruto was breathing hard, but he had a big smirk on his face. He looked at the tree and saw that he'd done it. The damage looked exactly like Pervy Sage's. He took a few moments to gain back his strength. He couldn't wait to show Pervy Sage his success. He wondered if he was back at the hotel. After a while, Naruto stood and made his way back. As he was halfway there, he caught sight of Jiraiya. He was slumped over, and it sounded like he was snoring. He gave an annoyed grunt and wondered why Tsunade didn't bring him back if he fell asleep. He walked up to his slumped body and with a sigh, gave him a swift kick. "Wake up, Pervy Sage," Naruto shouted. The man didn't move. More annoyed, he kicked him again. There was a grunt but Jiraiya still didn't move. Now Naruto was concerned. He checked his pulse, and he was still alive. He sucked his teeth and wished that Sakura were here. That's when he remembered who he was with last night. What did she do to him? Naruto thought. He needed to find Tsunade and get to the bottom of this. Lucky for him, he knew where she was staying. He quickly made his way to Tsunade's hotel and climbed the side of the building to reach her room. He looked inside and was surprised to see a body. He entered the room and checked over the person who was laying there. He turned them over and saw that it was Tsunade's assistant, Shizune. "Hey, are you alright?" Naruto asked while shaking her. Shizune groaned before opening her eyes. "Lady Tsunade?" Shizune whispered. That when she shot up, almost hitting Naruto, and was looking around frantically. "Lady Tsunade? Whoa, calm down. She's not here. I was looking for her. She was the last one with the Pervy Sage," Naruto explained. That's when Shizune grabbed him. "Lord Jiraiya. You need to take me to him," Shizune said while shaking him. "We need his help to stop Lady Tsunade." "What did she do?" a weak voice demanded. The two looked at the window to see Jiraiya. He did not look happy or well. He carefully entered the room and made his way to one of the seats. "Do you have anything to counteract whatever Tsunade gave me?" I might have something," Shizune said. She quickly went to her bag to get some materials. "As you work on that, you can explain what she and Orochimaru spoke about," Jiraiya stated. Shizune flinched while Naruto looked surprised. "Snake Face is here?" Naruto asked. That's when he looked at the two adults who were ignoring him. Shizune sighed before handing him something to drink. "Orochimaru wants his arms healed. He promised to revive Uncle Dan and her brother if she did," Shizune explained. "There's a jutsu that can do that?" Naruto asked with shock. "Reanimation, an immensely powerful but terrible jutsu. It was the same jutsu he used against Sarutobi," Jiraiya explained. He drank what was in the glass slowly. He finished it and put it down. "We need to stop her. Orochimaru will not hold up his end of the bargain. Will what you gave me help? I can still feel that my chakra is off." "It might. I don't know what she gave you. It was the best I could do," Shizune explained. "It will have to do. Come on you two. We have to save Tsunade." He spoke. The two nodded at him as he was getting his bearings. When he felt that he could move without throwing up, The trio began their search. Tsunade was breathing hard. She cursed herself for slipping on her training. If she kept it up, she wouldn't be in this situation right now. She looked at her downed opponent who was still trying to figure out what she did to him. It would give her time to fix what he did to her. Her glowing green hand was over her chest and she could feel her breath coming back. This level of jutsu, she turned just as he quickly got to his feet. This stuns her and makes her really see just how good he was. He rushed her, his kunai poised to strike. That's when a smoke bomb came between them and exploded, backing him up. When it cleared, Jiraiya, Shizune and Naruto stood in front of her. Shizune turned to her and checked her over. "Are you okay, Lady Tsunade?" Shizune asked. Tsunade didn't get a chance to reply as Orochimaru spoke. "It's been a while, Jiraiya." He spoke. "Has it? We could have caught up when you came to the leave, but you had to leave quickly," Jiraiya said. "Well, at least I was able to complete one of my objectives. Sensei is no longer with us thanks to me," Orochimaru stated. Jiraiya held in his anger at that but Naruto barely did. This made Orochimaru smirk. "Does that anger you, Naruto?" "Not as much as how we messed up your plans," Naruto spat before turning toward Kabuto. "So Shikamaru was right about you?" "That he was. I'm a bit annoyed that he did discover who I was. For years I fooled the village about my loyalty only to be discovered by a Genin, a lazy Nara at that," Kabuto said. "Lazy he might be, but he still discovered who you were? Maybe you're not as skilled as you think," Naruto mocked. "Hey, do not think your victory against Sasuke makes you strong, Naruto. Flukes happen in our world." Kabuto replied. "So, from the massive destruction we found in that alleyway, Tsunade refused your deal. You should have accepted the rejection and left," Jiraiya said, taking over the conversation. "Perhaps. However, I am very persistent. Tsunade will help me regain my jutsu, willingly or unwillingly," Orochimaru said. "You'll have to get past me first," Jiraiya said. This made Orochimaru smirk at him. That's when they heard Tsunade shout. She shoved Jiraiya out of the way and charged forward. Kabuto met the charge and was immediately pushed back. Tsunade was landing her punches as Kabuto was still feeling the effects of her jutsu. She punched him into a boulder and was prepared to finish him when Kabuto cut his wrist, spraying blood onto her. Tsunade froze in place, looking at the blood on her. She began to shake and whimper. Kabuto looked at her with disgust. He reared his fist back to hit her. Item transfer jutsu. Naruto voice cut through. Tsunade vanished and was replaced with a bomb. Kabuto almost didn't escape the explosion. He reappeared next to Orochimaru. He looked across to see Tsunade being cared for. "He almost caught you, Kabuto," Orochimaru said assumed. "That he did. It annoys me, his sealing ability," Kabuto said. He then popped a red pill, which stopped the bleeding. "So, what is our next move, Lord Orochimaru?" The Sannin held his arm out to him, making him smirk. He undid the bandage to reveal a tattoo. Kabuto smeared some blood on it before putting his palm on the ground. "Summoning jutsu." Kabuto called out, summoning 2 brown snakes. They hissed at the group and were preparing to strike. Jiraiya bit his thumb and smeared some blood on his palm. He did the seals and slammed his palm on the ground. "Summoning jutsu," Jiraiya shouted. When the smoke cleared, an awfully familiar toad appeared. "Yo!" Jiraiya cursed when he saw Gamikaze. This amused Orochimaru, who had an idea why Jiraiya was having problems. "Summoning jutsu," Naruto shouted. The smoke cleared to reveal a large, aquamarine toad with 2 swords. This removed the amusement from Orochimaru. He narrowed his eyes at the blonde who was joined by Jiraiya. "Kabuto," Orochimaru called with a serious tone. "Deal with the boy. He does not leave here alive." Kabuto smirked before vanishing. Orochimaru turned his attention to Jiraiya. Naruto appeared before the 2 ladies just as Kabuto arrived across from them. Naruto readied himself for battle, amusing Kabuto. "Do you plan on fighting me, Naruto? Our levels are far and in between. If I had to compare, I'm at the same level as Kakashi," Kabuto said. "Sorry to burst that bubble of yours, but Kakashi is the worst person to compare yourself to," Naruto said. "Hey, just because he focused on Sasuke does not make him weak. Perhaps, if you just waited your turn, he would have turned you into a stronger ninja. However, you were impatient like always." Kabuto mocked. "If that's what you think, then you're just as delusional as he is. But hey, if you want to underestimate me like he did and like how you did with Shikamaru, be my guest. It will make your defeat all that much humiliating." Naruto countered with a smirk. Kabuto's smirk fell a little at that. "Big talk, Naruto. Can you back it up?" Kabuto said, flicking out a kunai. Naruto gave Shizune a brief look. "Is she going to be okay?" Naruto asked. "I don't know. We just need to keep her safe," Shizune said and stood up. Naruto nodded and summoned 4 clones. He motioned the clones to surround Tsunade as he summoned 4 more clones. The 5 charged forward as Shizune followed behind him. Naruto's first attack was ducked while his clone's attack was parried. Kabuto rushed forward to engage the other 3. He was having a time dispelling them as they fought with unity. He finally managed to defeat the clones before Naruto, Shizune and the final clone could outflank him. However, 2 of the clones turned into ash while the third burst into fire. This created an explosion that sent Kabuto flying back. I forgot that he could create several different types of clones. Damn it. Kabuto cursed mentally. He quickly recovered as Shizune took a swipe with her chakra scalpel. He was about to counter but Naruto and his clone kicked him behind his legs, dropping him to his knees. They both grabbed his arms and twisted them, holding him in place. Shizune rushed forward in order to finish the fight. Kabuto powered himself to his feet and dropkicked Shizune in her chest. He used the 2 boys to land on his feet before kicking one of them. He reversed the other one's hold and stabbed him with his kunai. Naruto gasped before exploding into leaves. Kabuto swiped at the leaves, trying to see. It would only be seconds and the feeling of being cut that saved him from being beheaded. Using a quick substitution, he escaped the leaf cloud. Kabuto appeared away. Kabuto reappeared away from the 2. Drips of blood fell onto the grass before it healed. All amusement was gone from his face. He couldn't believe that this brat almost killed him. He looked to see the destruction that Naruto's just did. The boulder didn't even stop the deadly disc as it split it in 2. He looked at the blonde and narrowed his eyes. "I hope you enjoyed those hits, Naruto. They will be the last ones you will land on me," Kabuto said. "You sure about that?" Naruto asked and crossed his fingers. Shadow Clone Jutsu. 10 clones appeared. That's when the clones did seals. Leaf Clone Jutsu. Firebomb Jutsu. Ash Smoke Jutsu. Kabuto looked at the army before him. Each clone was armed and ready for battle. Kabuto narrowed his eyes and activated his chakra scalpels. He ran at them and they charged at him. The 2 sides collided in a furious clashing of attacks. Kabuto was slicing and slashing through the army. Naruto and his clones were getting in their shots, combining the effects of their dispelling to get shots on Kabuto. Still, Kabuto was a jonin for a reason. Despite his best efforts, Naruto was losing clones fast. Burning Snake Jutsu, Naruto shouted and slammed his palm on the ground, unleashing a large fire snake. The jutsu chased Kabuto who ran away from it. He did hand seal before disappearing into the earth. The attack hit and blasted some of the earth away. Naruto and his clones were on their toes when Kabuto popped out of the ground in front of Naruto. He chopped Naruto in the neck, forcing him to dispel. Kabuto looked at the other clones, his smirk returning. "Hiding among your clones? A good tactic but it will not last. This is the difference between us, Naruto," Kabuto said. "You sure like to hear yourself talk. You take out a few of my clones and you think that you're winning. That's going to be your downfall." Naruto spoke and his clones got ready to continue. Kabuto did as well as Naruto launched himself, continuing the battle. Kabuto's head snapped back as Shizune's kick connected. He backed up as 2 clones jumped him. Kabuto defended himself as best he could. Shizune joined the clones, making it a 3-on-1 fight. Kabuto was getting frustrated. He was a superior ninja, on the same level of Kakashi Hatake. These 2 should not be doing this to him, especially Naruto. He needed to turn this fight into his favor. He couldn't just stay defensive. That's when he saw Tsunade. She was still being guarded by Naruto's clones. With a smirk, Kabuto escaped the fight and ran toward Tsunade. Shizune, Naruto and his remaining clones ran after him. Kabuto's smirk got wider before vanishing from sight. Everyone came to a stop and were on guard. They looked for the man when Kabuto struck. Shizune suddenly felt weak and dropped to her knees. She saw 2 glowing hard on her ankles as Kabuto revealed himself, coming out of the ground. She tried to lash out, but he struck first, stomping her head into the ground hard. Shizune gasped before going limp. "Shizune!" Naruto shouted and charged toward Kabuto in a rage. Kabuto did some hand seals and slammed his hands on the ground. "Earth style, flying stone jutsu," he shouted. A wave of stone projectiles struck the rushing Naruto and the clones that followed him. Those clones were dispelled while Naruto had to cover up. When the jutsu ended, Kabuto was gone again. Naruto looked around for him, only to hear one of his clones get killed. Another was dispelled and Naruto realized that Kabuto was attacking from below. He watched another clone get dispelled and Naruto was trying to think of a way to deal with Kabuto. However, the man was moving too quick for him to counter. That's when Naruto's left leg gave out, forcing him to one knee. "Finally found you." Naruto looked toward the voice only to be kicked in the face. Naruto tumbled away as Kabuto got to work destroying the rest of the clones. Naruto struggled to stand. He flinched as he got to his feet. He had to put all his weight on his right leg, and it wasn't easy. Well, Naruto turned his attention to the approaching Kabuto. "What shall I do with you, Naruto? Your persistence, while impressive, has become annoying. I will give you credit. You are skilled. However, the game is finally over." He spoke. "You would think that, huh? You managed to get an advantage and you think you've won? That kind of thinking will get you killed, Kabuto." Naruto spat. "Perhaps, but I can afford to be confident right now," Kabuto said and stood in front of Naruto. The Genin glared at him, only amusing him more. He raised his glowing hand. "Don't be mad, Naruto. It is like I told you earlier, you were out of your league." He brought his hand down fast and connected with Naruto's neck. Imagine Kabuto's surprise when Naruto exploded into flames, scorching his arm. Kabuto roared in pain and cursed at what was done to him. He looked toward Tsunade to see Naruto with those clones protecting Tsunade. "I've had enough of your tricks, Uzumaki," Kabuto roared and used the teleportation technique to appear right next to him. He was about to finish him off only to freeze up just as his kunai neared his head. He struggled to move but he couldn't. "Wow, I have got to remember that combo," Naruto said with a grin. "What? What did you do to me, brat?" Kabuto exclaimed. "Like I'm going to tell you. Now, stay still and get ready." Naruto held out his hand while another clone began to move his hands over his. Naruto gathered his chakra and his clone helped shape it. After a few moments, a sphere of chakra was held in his hand. Kabuto looked at the jutsu with wide eyes. Naruto reared his arm back. "Rasengan," Naruto roared and thrust his jutsu into Kabuto's gut. The jutsu began to grin into Kabuto. The man cried out as he was enveloped in a sphere and sent flying away. Kabuto flew back several yards until he crashed into a boulder, hard. Kabuto spat out blood and slumped into the cratered boulder. Kabuto glared at Naruto, trying to use his jutsu to heal himself. However, the damage done to him was too great. "That brat caused that much damage to me. My jutsu can't heal at all. Damn it, I will not forget this," he thought bitterly before falling to the ground. Naruto looked at the fallen Kabuto and released a sigh. His clones dispelled and Naruto sat down. "Now the game is over, prick," Naruto said. Tsunade could only look on in shock. She couldn't explain what she just saw. She thought that Naruto was going to die after Kabuto had him cornered. That's when she watched the clones protecting her do something. One clone quickly wrote seals on another and then another clone did some hand seals. The original Naruto was suddenly replaced with the clone who got destroyed in his place. While that was surprising, the fact that the brat was able to form a perfect Rasengan was just as surprising. She couldn't believe it and she wasn't the only one. Orochimaru also saw what just happened and he was not happy. The boy was getting too strong. Knowing the summoning jutsu and the Rasengan made this brat a big problem in the future. Not only him, but those other brats were going to be problems. He was also tired of losing to children. He knew the dangers of what he was planning but he did not care. Naruto Uzumaki had to die now. He prepared to launch himself at the boy only to struck hard by Jiraiya's kick. The white-haired ninja quickly did hand seals. "Fire style, giant flame bombs," Jiraiya shouted. Multiple flame bullets flew at Orochimaru. The man dodged the large fireballs. Jiraiya did some more hand seals, causing his hair to grow and surround him. He landed and added more chakra. This caused some of his hair to fire at Orochimaru. The man quickly got his summon to surround him and protect him from the attack. He saw Tsunade's assistant and made a move to get her only to see her vanish and replaced with a kunai. He looked to where she now was and glared at the boy. That's when Jiraiya appeared in front of him. "Don't even think about it," Jiraiya warned. Orochimaru narrowed his eyes at him. "Always in the way, Jiraiya. Despite my handicap, you could never defeat me," Orochimaru said with a sneer. "Well, I've never been one to try. Today, however, will be different," he explained. "Oh, and why is that?" Jiraiya did another summoning and two small toads appeared. One toad, male, had white hair styled in a mohawk, thick eyebrows and a small goatee. He wore a high collar cape. The other toad, female, was a lighter green than the male. She had a purple ring around her lips and her purple hair looked like it was hairnet. She also had a high collar cape. "Why did you summon us, Jiraiya boy?" "I was making dinner," the female shouted. "Shima, Look forward. The male said. She did and saw the injured Orochimaru. He looked up at Jiraiya and saw that he was profoundly serious. I am surprised that you wish to use that. You're not a fan of it since it changes your features. That is true, Fukasaku-sensei, but times have changed, Jiraiya said seriously. Very well. Let's help him, Ma, Fukasaku said. Shima nodded and the two toads jumped onto Jiraiya's shoulders. They did a seal. Sage art, amphibian jutsu, they said. Orochimaru's eyes widened at that. He watched as Jiraiya began to transform. His nose grew bigger and gained warts, his teeth turned sharp, and he grew a goatee. The marks on his face surrounding his eyes and covered his cheeks. His appearances were more toad-like. Orochimaru would have chuckled at how ugly his former comrade looked if this were not as serious. Jiraiya's eyes glared at him. Like I said, today is different. Today, I protect Sensei's investment and I correct a mistake all those years ago. With that, Jiraiya launched himself at Orochimaru. Naruto was trying to help Shizune, but when it came to health, he was no expert. It was the only thing he didn't do well in the academy. He knew the basic field first aid, but that's about it. He really wished Sakura or Choji were with him. That when two glowing green hands appeared on Shizune's head. Naruto looked up to see Tsunade. He could see that she was struggling due to the blood, but she was focused on healing her. The two were silent for a while before Tsunade spoke. You know that your Rasengan does not count? You had help. She explained. Naruto gave a look when she said that. What? You know that I'm right. Well, it worked, and I won, Naruto said with a pout. This made Tsunade scoff amusingly. If he were alive, my brother would have liked you. Dan, he would. He would. Tsunade was choking up and tears began to fall. Both of them, they would be so ashamed of me. What I've become, what I've done, they would be so ashamed, she cried. She stopped healing Shizune and grabbed her necklace. I am the only one who can wear this accursed thing. I tried to pass it off, but it took their lives. The funny thing is that they wanted to be Hokage. For so long, I blamed that position when it was this thing that took them away. It was me who took them away. That's stupid, Naruto shouted. Tsunade looked at the blonde who was giving her an intense look. He then held out his hand. Give me the stupid thing. I'll show you that it isn't cursed. Tsunade just looked at the determined look on his face and it surprised her. I'm going to be Hokage. I'm going to be the best. If you want proof of that, you'll give me that necklace. I'll prove to you that it isn't cursed. Tsunade could only look at his eyes. They were so much like her brother's. Her surprise turned into a small smile. She moved toward him, taking off her necklace. She then placed it around his neck. Naruto was a little surprised that she gave it up and looked at his new accessory. Alright brat, prove it to me. I'll watch you to see if you can do as you say. She spoke. Watching? What are you talking about? He asked with confusion. Well, I'm going to be Hokage, Tsunade stated. Naruto's eyes widened at that. Before he could say anything, an explosion interrupted him. The two turned to see a very bruised up Orochimaru on the ground. The man slowly stood up and the two could see that half of his face was gone. It was as if he was wearing a mask. Tsunade stood up and was preparing to rush forward. She stopped when she saw Jiraiya land in front of her in his transformed state. She gave him a brief look before facing Orochimaru. So, he was never here? She asked. It seems that way. Jiraiya answered. Orochimaru looked at the two and realized that he would not be getting what he wanted. It annoyed him, but he relaxed soon after. He had other ways to get his jutsu back. However, he had to do something about the hidden leaf's growth. He was already seeing the difficulty he would have if they continued to grow. Still, he knew that there was nothing he could do for now. He suspected that his sensei's old rival would not allow him to challenge the change. Orochimaru vanished and reappeared next to Kabuto. Jiraiya and Tsunade watched as he knelt next to him. The man looked at Tsunade and smirked. You should have accepted my offer, Tsunade. No matter, I have other methods to regain my jutsu. He spoke. He then unleashed his intent and focused it on Naruto. The blonde gulped, but Tsunade got in front of him. Orochimaru kept his eyes on the boy. I will not forget this boy. You have interrupted my plans for a second time. There will not be a third. He turned his attention to Tsunade and Jiraiya. Be prepared, my old comrades. I will return and the leaf will burn. I promise. With his piece said, Orochimaru took Kabuto and melted into the ground. Jiraiya and the toad were on alert just in case he tried anything. After a few moments, they could not sense the two anymore. They relaxed with Jiraiya letting out a throaty sigh. He turned to Tsunade and gave her a thumbs-up signature. Tsunade just gave him an annoyed grunt before turning to look at Naruto. He was still admiring his new necklace. Dan, Nawaki, I will put my faith in this boy. I will put my faith out there once more. Please, protect him. With that final thought, the battle was now over. It would be a week later when the group of 5 arrived in the Hidden Leaf. It took 2 full days for Shizune to recover from her head wound. Tsunade made sure that she was well to travel. Once she was healed, they were off. During the trip, Naruto and Tsunade got to know one another. While the blind did call her granny a lot, the woman was impressed by him. People at his age weren't so skilled with the sealing arts. Even she was not as good with the art. Still, to hear about his accomplishments for someone so young, it was impressive. Naruto was picking her brain about an idea of his teammates. It was an idea that really interested her. It was because of this, the two were bonding. Entering the village, the group were met by the elders and 2 Jonin. Naruto greeted them in his usual flair. "Auntie, uncle, mission is complete," Naruto boasted. Tsunade was amused by this, but the two weren't bothered by the greeting. "That you have, Naruto. You can go home and rest now. We will take over now," Koharu said. "Got it. See you later, Granny, Shizune, pervy sage," Naruto said and vanished. Tsunade looked annoyed, though not as much as Jiraiya. "I swear to God." Tsunade growled. "Do not take it personal, Tsunade. It is a term of endearment," Homura explained. "It's a pain in the ass," Jiraiya muttered. "Let's just get this over with," Tsunade spat before she lashed out. She followed the elders to the Hokage's tower. After getting some ramen, Naruto decided to go home. As he neared his apartment, he was surprised to see Shikamaru. "Hey Shikamaru, what's up?" Naruto asked. "I heard you got back. We need to talk," Shikamaru said seriously. Naruto was surprised but did not question it. He let him in and put his stuff down. He went to his kitchen and got Shikamaru a glass of water. The two sat across from each other. "So, what's up?" Naruto asked and took drink of his water. "I wanted to talk to you about the 9-tailed fox sealed within you," Shikamaru stated. Naruto choked on the water he was drinking. He got himself under control and stared at Shikamaru in shock. "Don't worry. No one told me. I figured it out on my own." "How? Why?" he stuttered. "I've been thinking about what happened at the Furinal. When Ibiki said what he said about you, I just found it weird that you would be the only one to understand Gaara. Then I remembered how you were treated. How all the adults ignored you or being mean to you. If it wasn't for Kiba, you could have turned out just like Gaara." "I know I would," Shikamaru explained. "But how did you come to the conclusion?" Naruto asked. "Took a while, but doing research about what happened on your birthday, I just guessed that was the case. The 4th Hokage was a genius, but not even he could have defeated that monster," he answered. "So what happens now? Are you going to tell the guys?" he asked nervously. "Not my story to tell," Shikamaru said. He then sighed. "Look Naruto, nothing's changed between you and me. No 9-tailed fox in your gut is going to end our friendship." "Are really? You're loud, obnoxious and way too energetic, but you're no danger to me. Adults are stupid for even thinking that about you like that. You've already proved it to the higher-ups. I've got your back, Naruto. We losers got to stick together," Shikamaru said with a smirk and held out his fist. Tears welled up in his eyes before fist-bumping Shikamaru. Outside near the window, Shikaku smiled. He vanished, leaving the two alone. Tsunade glided her fingers across the desk. She walked around it before coming to the chair. She looked at it for a minute before taking a seat. Tsunade could feel the weight of the chair and wondered if this was how Sensei felt when her granduncle gave him the position. She leaned back and just took it in. She could only hope that she could do this. That's when she saw something on the table. It was a letter and it had the symbol 5th on it. Picking it up, she opened it. She instantly recognized Hiruzen's handwriting and began to read. "To the 5th Hokage, you are probably feeling the weight of the position as you sit in that chair. I was the same when I took it as was my successor. It was not easy and I made mistakes, as you will. However, you must stay your course. Trust your instincts and rely on your allies. To act alone is to fail. Believe in the will of fire and it will guide you to success. I wish you well 5th. The 3rd Hokage, Hiruzen Sarutobi." Tsunade smiled at the encouraging words. She opened a drawer to put the note away. That's when she saw a folder. It was labeled Team 6 on it. She was curious and grabbed the folder. She opened it and read the first page. As she read it, she couldn't help but be surprised by what she was reading. It seemed that the old monkey was preparing for the future of not just the Hidden Leaf but the world. "Well Sensei, I am definitely interested. I wonder where this will lead to. Naruto, Sakura and Tobio stood in front of their sensei, Tekuno Kenden. The jovial man was facing his new team. Well, I am glad to know that you came here. So, let's begin with introductions. While we have been on duty for a while, we should learn about each other. How about you tell everyone your name, rank and future goals? I'll go first. I am Tekuno Kenden, Jonin, and my goal is to see you all succeed. Tobio, why don't you go next? Okay, my name is Tobio, I'm a Jonin and I don't have a goal right now. All I want to do is serve the village as best I can. Tobio introduced. He turned to Naruto. My name is Naruto Uzumaki, Jonin extraordinaire, and I'm going to be Hokage, Naruto exclaimed, causing Sakura to roll her eyes. My name is Sakura Haruno, I am a Jonin and I also don't have a goal in mind. I would like to continue my medical training and see where that leads, she said. Well then, I hope that I can help you all in your goals. So, let's see just how you all function as a team. The man pulled out a single bell and the trio knew what this meant. Tekuno smiled as the three geared up to fight. So, shall we begin? Tsunade had just finished her daily meeting with the council. It had been about 2 weeks since she became Hokage and she was already regretting it. The workload was getting to her and then there was the complaints that she had to deal with. Lucky for her, the elders were there to help her without any trouble between them. Even an elder who she never trusted seemed to be playing ball with her. How long that would last would depend on how things went. Either way, it had been a busy 2 weeks. Tsunade neared her office where Shizune was waiting for her. There was also someone with her that she was very interested to see. Shizune, make sure that we are not interrupted. Step inside, Jonin Hatake. We have much to discuss, Tsunade said. The door was opened and she stepped in, Kakashi following. She got to her seat while Kakashi stood in front of her. Once she was settled and she activated the security seal, she faced the silver-haired man. So, first things first. You should know that I do fully intend to punish you. The elders told me that if you couldn't keep Sasuke in check that you would pay a price. However, I wanted to know how you messed up so royally. The first thing, why did you pass this team? They met my expectations, ma'am. I gave them the bell test and they all passed, Kakashi stated. Only after Naruto understood the point of that test, right? Kakashi did not show any reaction. I interviewed your former charges and they told me about the bell test. Sakura's interview was most enlightening. You giving them a second chance is not what disappoints me. I can understand the why, so I can excuse that. It is after you pass them is where I get annoyed. I was focusing on trying to get them to work together, which was difficult because there were outside forces that interfered with what I was trying to do. Kakashi argued. So it's their fault? Tsunade asked with an edge. She pulled out a folder and opened it in front of him. You ignored the issue with Sasuke when he attempted to steal Naruto's scroll. You didn't train them in the tree climbing exercise until your first C-rank mission. You ignored Yukunoichi's request for training when asked. These are notes that Hiruzen took when others came to complain about how you ran your team. There is more than 10 complaints, all saying that you did nothing while favoring Sasuke. Sasuke was further along than the other two. I had a plan for them. If they were just patient, I would have trained them to their full potential. When was this going to be? When Sasuke became a Chunin. If it led to that, then yes. So, if they had died in that exam, then what would have happened? Keep in mind, Hiruzen's notes explain what happened in the Forest of Death. I am not defending Sasuke's actions in the forest. However, if they had come together like I preached, none of that would have happened. Are you serious right now? What kind of bullshit excuse is that? You can't preach teamwork when the preacher is a hypocrite and one of his followers refuses to listen. There is no reason for what happened. You should have never recommended your team that was so fractured in the exams. It is a miracle that they survived, and that is on you, Kakashi, Tsunade said hard. She took a breath to calm herself before looking at him. Now, you better have a good one for teaching that boy the Chidori. What could have possessed you to do that? I specifically told Sasuke that jutsu was to save his comrades. By the finals, he did not consider Naruto a comrade, only an enemy. Kakashi explained. Only because your boy was a petty child. His ego couldn't handle that someone who was graduating class saw as a loser getting stronger than him. So the great Sharingan Kakashi gave him Anbu training and a deadly jutsu to soothe it, she said. And what does Naruto get? Training from a sage? He countered. Naruto would have beaten Sasuke in finals even if Jiraiya didn't help. Ibiki, Tsume and Iruka aren't bad shinobi. Plus, you know firsthand the power of sealing jutsu. Your sensei and his wife were prodigies at the art, so is their son. So far, All I have heard is excuses from you and you have done nothing to correct them. I want to know why you didn't stop Sasuke's research in breaking Naruto's seals? What? I don't know what you are talking about. Tsunade could see that he wasn't lying. When Sasuke was arrested, we searched his place. We found scrolls on ceiling and marks about certain seals. I don't have to tell you which ones. However, you were supposed to keep an eye on him and report anything suspicious. I cannot defend these actions, ma'am, Tsunade sighed at him. As of right now, you are on leave. If we need you, we will call you. If it wasn't for the rise of activity from the other villages, I would demote you. However, you will write down 5 jutsu each for your former charges. I believe that is only fair. Kakashi nodded, but there was something on his mind. Ma'am, may I ask what happened to Sasuke? I have been to his cell and he was gone, Kakashi said. Tsunade looked at Kakashi for a while before answering. As of 3 days ago, he is now a prisoner of Hozuki Castle. Seeing that you couldn't convince him that he was wrong in his actions and he showed no remorse, I sent him to blood prison until he's 18. Afterwards, he will have his chakra sealed and monitored for the rest of his life. His career as a shinobi is over. Kakashi was surprised by this action, but there was nothing he could do. With a bow, Kakashi vanished. Tsunade sighed and deactivated the seals. She really hoped that this would wake the man up. However, she felt like this was only the continuing of very dangerous downward spiral. She only hoped that she was wrong. Kakashi stared at Sasuke with disappointment as he glared at him from behind bars. He had received word about Sasuke's actions, and he couldn't believe that Sasuke attempted to kill Naruto just because Itachi focused on Naruto. He looked at him with his lone eye. I want an explanation, Sasuke, Kakashi stated. I don't owe you a damn thing, Sasuke spat. Do you not realize that you could face serious punishment for what you did? They could strip you of your symbol. He spoke. I don't care about this stupid village. All they have done is hold me back for getting strong, he shouted. You've done it yourself. You've allowed your inferior complex to hold you back from improving. There is not quick way to strength. The Jonin lectured. Don't come to me and act like you care. The only reason you are facing me is because you will share the same punishment as me. I'm not stupid. The Uchiha spat. This isn't about any punishment. I will gladly take any punishment to protect my student. All you have to do is show that you are sorry, and we both will come out better in the end, Kakashi said, trying to reason with him. Sasuke glared hard at the man. I take that back. I was stupid. I was stupid to think that I could trust you to make me strong. I should have done what other two did and dropped you for someone better, Sasuke stated, shocking Kakashi. Are you serious? He asked, stunned. This soon turned to anger, and he gave Sasuke a very harsh glare. Do you realize that I have put everything I am toward you? I have put my skill, my jutsu and my reputation to make the ninja that you were supposed to be. I have given you everything and this is the thanks I get? You did nothing. Do you hear me, Hokage? Nothing. All your skill and jutsu didn't do squat. I should have been stronger than everyone, but I am the one catching up. I should not be behind those who are beneath me. The one constant in this whole thing is you. You're a fraud and it makes me sick to think that you carry my clan's power in your head, Sasuke roared. Kakashi was furious at what was said to him. He had never been so insulted in his life. He glared hard at Sasuke before vanishing. Present Kakashi took a few breaths to calm himself before he destroyed something. He couldn't believe how ungrateful the brat was. He was mad at all of his former charges, but Sasuke's words cut deep. With a sigh, he turned away from the stone and walked away. He had some jutsu to give up. Once that was done, he could put this all behind him. I have to admit, I did not expect such a move, Orochimaru said with amusement. He sat on his throne with Kabuto standing in front of him. I am as well. I thought for sure that they would protect him. He does possess the Sharingan. I especially thought that your ally would jump at the chance at molding him, Kabuto said. He is no longer an ally. With how much the village has changed, he is content with the path that it is heading. It is not his way, but the village has grown stronger due to the changes. We have first-hand knowledge of that. The man said, gaining a frown from Kabuto. The young medic was still sore about being defeated by Naruto. So, what is our next move? He asked. Hey, we shall keep our focus on Sasuke. Speak to our contacts in the grass country and see what you can learn about who runs Hozuki Castle. Perhaps we can learn something. And the Leaf Village? Let our fellow villages deal with them. Their rise has caused a stir that cannot be ignored. Also, prepare a new body. This surprised Kabuto. Are you not going to wait for Sasuke? He asked. No, I cannot wait. I need to gain my jutsu back if I am to face the leaf again. We can no longer deal with them the same way. I refuse to be defeated once again because I underestimated them. Prepare the subjects. Orochimaru ordered. Kabuto bowed and vanished. Orochimaru eased back into his throne and just smiled. It looked like things were going his way finally. Ino stood in the background as everyone got their awards. She had a hard look in her eyes as she watched, really wishing that she was somewhere else. She should be training, but she was dragged here by Asuma just so she could watch people she didn't like to get awarded. It was like her sensei wanted to embarrass her further. She was especially not happy to see Sakura and Shikamaru get those awards. Seeing them get acknowledged, it was like a slap in the face. She didn't enjoy seeing either one of them getting praised. Shikamaru was nothing more than a lazy bum who thought he was a bigger deal. Sakura got lucky with that ninja who helped her, or else she would be nothing. She felt a boiling rage within whenever she heard about the two. They weren't that special, and it was starting to piss her off that people thought they were. Her mood only worsens when the Hokage had Shikamaru, and Shino stay in front of her. That's when she brought out two flak vests. It wasn't just any vest, but it was a Chunin vest. What the hell did that sloth and the bug boy do to deserve it? How was that fair? She wanted to get the hell out of here and fast. Finally, the ceremony was done and Ino was the first one out the door. She stormed her way to the exit, wanting to leave as fast as she could. Two bad things did not go her way. A hand grabbed her shoulder to stop her. She turned to see Asuma, who was giving her a disapproving look. Ino didn't care and shrugged his hand off her. She turned to face him, giving him a hard look. "Can I help you, sensei?" Ino said with a tone. Asuma just sighed, pinching the bridge of his nose. "You couldn't even congratulate your teammate?" he asked. "We both know that my congratulations would mean nothing coming from me. We are not on the best of terms, and before you say it, I don't think it's all on me," she stated. "If you think that, then this makes my decision that much easier," Asuma said and handed her a form. "What is this?" Ino asked. Asuma didn't say anything and let her read it. As Ino read the form, her eyes only got wider. "Probation? You're putting me on probation? You gave me little choice. Your attitude and hostility have reached my limit. You continue to ignore my orders and continue to put yourself at risk. I can't have this continue." Lady Hokage agrees, as does your father. "So, you are being placed on probation for 6 months. You either shape up or you're demoted to the remedial forces," Asuma explained. "What the hell does that even mean?" Ino demanded. "You won't be a Genin anymore, but you will not be sent back into the academy. The council are creating a division when Genin who fail are retrained and reassigned," he explained. "So, that's it? You're trying to get rid of me?" She spat. "No, but I must think of the team. Show me that you can be a team player and you might not be demoted. Continue on this path, Ino, and you'll be replaced. It is just that simple." With that, Asuma turned away and made his way out. Ino just stood there, her fists balled up. She couldn't believe what just happened. Tears began to form up in her eyes, but she refused to cry here. She continued on her way before she got more frustrated. Kin stood before Tsunade and the elders. She was now dressed in a green-collared shirt that covered a mesh undershirt, a black mini-skirt, black biker shorts, fishnet stockings, 2 black forearm bracers and a blue head tie that kept her hair out of eyes. She stood at attention, but she was nervous as hell. She wasn't nervous with the elders as she proved herself to them, however. This would be the first time that she faced Tsunade. She heard about the female kunoichi and knew her reputation. "So, you're Kintsuchi? The elders have been speaking about you, as have your handlers. It seems that you are willing to be a kunoichi of the village," Tsunade said. "Yes, I wish to be a shinobi of the village," Kin said. "I am willing to allow it." "The elders have informed you about their plans?" she asked. "The probation program?" "Yes, they explained it." "Good, so I don't have to go into it. Depending on how you do, you will be given your symbol. All that is needed is for you to be assigned to a jonin. Lucky for you, a jonin asked for you personally." "Really? Who?" she asked. Tsunade knocked on her desk and the door opened to reveal a kunoichi. She was wearing a mesh bodysuit that covered her body all the way to her thighs. She wore an orange miniskirt, a tan trench coat, silver shin guards and a necklace. She had purple hair that was tied in a spiky ponytail and pupilless brown eyes. She looked at Kin with a wide grin. "So, you're my new pet?" Anko asked, surprising Kin. "Behave, Anko," Koharu said. "She's not a pet for you to torture." Kin looked at the three with a bit of worry. Tsunade sighed and looked at her. "This is Anko Mitarashi, one of our special jonin. You will be assigned to her so you will be allowed to do missions." She will also be the one who determines if you become a ninja of the leaf. Tsunade explained. Okay, but why her? Kin asked. That's when Anko put her arm around her and pulled her close. Oh, don't be like that. We are going to have some much fun together. Who knows, you might learn something from me, Anko said, rubbing her cheek to her. Kin tried to escape while the other three in the room just sighed. They were reconsidering this decision greatly. Sasuke laid in his cell, holding his chest in pain. This damn seal that was placed on him burned when he got out of line. He was really starting to hate seals. He got to his bed and managed to roll to his back. He laid still and glared at the ceiling. Everything was not going his way and he hated it. He had been defeated, humiliated and his pride shattered. All his plans, all his ambitions were taken away from him and it was all the Leaf Village's fault, especially Naruto. Thinking about that blonde enraged him. He was nothing but a dead-last loser who no one cared about. It wasn't until that other loser Kiba decided to be friends with him. Then his family took him in and gave him people who cared. Then those other two losers joined them, and their families took him in as well. He found people who gave a damn, and he became better from it. While he got better, he didn't get anything of the sort. All he got were bootlickers and people who just wanted him for his name. He didn't need them and didn't want them. He wanted power and the Leaf didn't give it to him. However, one man gave him power. It was power that he enjoyed. How it felt, it was incredible. It was the power that he needed. It would help him complete his objective. Then that bastard took it away. Naruto took it away from him with his damn seals. He would never forgive or forget what he did, and he would make Naruto pay for it. Yes, he would make Naruto pay. The blonde took away his ambition, so he would take away his dream. That he swore, that he promised.
That's it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on my other social media accounts. Anime God here, and I'm signing off.